Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 15 of Your Favorite Movies. Today, I'm joined by Cam Maydak. And Cam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you on here. We've been kind of talking on Instagram and all this for like a solid year and a half, at least, maybe 2 years now,
Yeah,
about Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, all these different things. But what are we talking about today?
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
We have one of the greatest movies of all time. My personal second favorite movie of all time right now, The Dark Knight. I feel like we might have given it away a little bit behind you, but this movie is just fantastic. And do you remember the first time you saw it?
Yes. It was at my grandma's house when I was on vacation, which is in Maryland, and when Dark Knight Rises was about to come out, I remember that Batman Begins was on FX and the Dark Knight was on TNT. So I remember like everybody in the house came up to the living room to watch both of these movies. And then while I loved Batman Begins, when the Dark Knight ended, I just remember going, "Wow, that was maybe one of the best movies I've ever seen."
Yeah.
It
Oh,
also got me. It also got me hyped more for the Dark Knight Rises too.
oh yeah. I can definitely see that. It's actually ironic because the first time I saw this movie was at my grandma's house, which is I think pretty funny. And I just the only thing I really remember is just the shot of the Joker hanging upside down right at the end. They're like one of the last scenes in the movie when Batman, throws him over the edge. And I that image is just stuck in my mind forever. I've seen this movie a million times. Like these are some of the first DVDs that I owned. I remember back in 20, well, this either would have been 2012, 2013 when we were renting The Dark Knight Rises for the first time. And I was like there, and I think I was just with my dad, and we were like renting it. And I was like, shorter than the counter, and the woman who was like, um, doing, how they have to like take off that one thing, whatever,
Right.
on the case. And she's like looking at me like, is he watching the movie? Like she was just giving me that look. I don't know why, but that is just stuck in my head. And my favorite when I was younger was The Dark Knight Rises, but it is The Dark Knight now, and this is my favorite trilogy of all time. I keep looking at the poster over there that I have for it. I absolutely adore this film.
Yeah. Well, actually, believe it or not, I actually have four copies of the movie on DVD. Yeah.
Really?
One is the full screen DVD, and then there's two Blu-ray
Oh,
copies. One was just a singular copy from the Nolan collection, and the other was the Dark Knight trilogy. And then I recently bought the 4K Blu-ray, which I showed you like
yes,
last week.
yes. We got the same one here. This cover is just so like simple, so awesome. I have the DVDs, and I have a full screen DVD of Batman Begins, which I always remember being like, what the hell is this? It's so weird. Now I have them on 4K. This is like when we're talking about the 4K. I think we can talk about kind of like the audio and video kind of part of the movie because I know Cam is very like into the audio and all this, but this is one of the best looking 4Ks I've ever seen. Like this is whenever I go to like test a new 4K player, like our TV downstairs, we got one a few months ago, and the first movie I put in was this one. Put on the opening scene, just watched it, and I was like blown away once again. It's either this one or Jaws, which I just got. I was testing my TV in my room, which I just got with Jaws, whatever, a few months ago. But it's definitely a tester movie. I feel.
Yeah, right. I did watch the movie yesterday in 4K. Well, it was on my laptop because it is the only 4K player that I have besides my basic Xbox One, and I usually and there's like no Blu-ray player in my mom's room, which is just a Fire TV with an Echo Studio. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I do have to agree. This is one of the best 4K versions I've ever seen right here. It is better than the Blu-ray because the Blu-ray right now just kind of looks a little dated.
Yeah, like it doesn't really compare to them. I get what you're saying with that. I feel like I've seen the Blu-ray. I know that I have, I don't know where, like I know almost everybody who owns any movie, typically they own a copy of The Dark Knight, which is funny. Obviously, it's one of the biggest movies of all time. And do you want to kind of talk about the audio and all this? Because I know you have a lot to say about that.
Yes. So the first thing I want to say is that this is for anyone who doesn't know, like this is the first movie to be partially shot with Imax 70 millimeter cameras. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, and they are, it's basically a film stock camera, and it's not like a digital camera or anything. And it's also the largest and the highest resolution cameras on the planet right now, which is up to 18K.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And also at the time, the cameras were only used for IMAX documentaries, and it was deemed impossible to use them for films like those because the camera's too heavy, the camera's expensive, and every time the camera would start, it'll make a loud filming noise, and it also makes the on-set dialogue too hard to hear. So what they usually do is just they film it and then they go to the ADR because it didn't record it because again the camera's too loud.
Yeah.
But luckily the camera, the crew got used to it in like a week. But I did know 2 incidents that happened. One was like they accidentally dropped a camera. They dropped the camera while during the Bankai sequence, and another was in the Chicago action sequence, and they actually destroyed one of the cameras.
Yeah, and in The Dark Knight Rises, Anne Hathaway on the bike, there's a video of her going down like the stairs and then smashes straight into one of the IMAX cameras and totally broke it.
Yeah, but it was but I mean it wasn't Anne Hathaway, it was a stunt double, but
That's what I meant. Sorry.
yeah, but it happened to be like one of the 4 cameras on the planet, so like you have to be like really really careful.
And I think that they use it like to the fullest potential here. Like obviously they're not shooting the entire movie in like IMAX, but that would just be crazy for especially for the time. Like
and also also the cost too.
Oh my God, like this movie probably is already expensive enough, but I think like every time in this movie, because for those who also don't know, like every time you see the like black bars on the top go like this, that means they're shooting in IMAX, and it's totally worth it. Like that obviously the opening here, one of the greatest openings of all time. It's one that has always stuck with me. And then when Joker finally pulls off his mask, and like you kind of know it's him. He has green hair. You're not 100% sure. They all have clown masks on. He pulls it off. It's just that close up. It's amazing. And then he rides away with all the other buses. It's just so Joker.
The clarity is really great too, especially in the 4K.
Oh yeah, it like you can see skin tone, like everything to perfection, like Christian Bale.
Yeah, but I don't think that's like the best IMAX shots. Like the best IMAX shots was like any like sky.
Oh yeah. Like when he's perched. I was just using that as an example for the scene.
No, like the helicopter shots are when they're flying over the city.
Oh yeah. Like even the opening shot of the film where they go into the building, like I totally agree because it really shows so much here. And I'm interested to know what you think of Christian Bale as more so as Batman than Bruce Wayne, because I know a ton of people complain about the voice. What are your thoughts on that?
I have to admit it is a little silly at times. Like that. I'm not wearing hockey pants.
That's one of my favorite lines ever. But for me, I'm not one. I really don't care because I feel like if Bruce Wayne was really trying to hide his identity, I totally think he would use that voice. Now, there's lines like that, but like those lines have always stuck with me, and I've always found them to be quite funny. But like that line's just like very much kind of joking around Batman. But for me, the voice isn't stupid or silly. Like I know a lot of people kind of give him shit for it, and that's like the complaint. If people complain about the movie, it's that right there. Whereas for me, I don't really have a problem with it. But again, of course, it's all just opinions.
But there's even a few a few lines I find especially hilarious. When Joker was at the party and he's explaining to Rebecca about the scars he has, and then Rebecca kicks him. Joker goes, "A little fight in you. I like that." And then Batman goes, "Then you're gonna love me."
I love that though. That's so awesome. Like that's like the ultimate
and also,
superhero one-liner.
And also in the end sequence, well, the final battle with Joker, and Joker goes, "Oh, you want to know how I got these scars?" Batman goes, "No, but I know how you got these."
And then he starts the thing. It's like I just feel like, especially because I've been making videos on this. I'm starting to read the comics too, and I've kind of noticed so far. I've read Year One, The Batman Who Laughs, and The Long Halloween. Just for those who are watching and want to check those out, I'll link them up here. And I've really loved them, and I kind of see that like Batman does. He's pretty serious, but like he does have the odd joke in him. And even if we go back to like, I mean, you're wearing the classic Batman 1989 shirt. When you have this isn't really a Batman line, but it's a Bruce Wayne line when Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne's like, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts," like stuff like that. It's like you can kind of see Bruce Wayne knows how to joke around and kind of do this. So I think it's nice how he transfers that into Batman.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
I do agree. Like this Batman is better than Michael Keaton.
Keaton
Because, because you don't really get a lot of Batman in those Tim Burton movies.
No, no.
Yeah.
I don't find that. And like, I mean, I feel like let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Heath Ledger. Just I'll let you go about that. It's just like we're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're
Yeah.
not worthy.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have to talk about that. You can't talk about The Dark Knight without talking about that.
Yeah, it was a shame that he died right after filming this. What was it, like a drug overdose?
In ways. In
Yeah.
I don't know.
I actually have to admit, like I've never seen anything else with Heath Ledger besides Brokeback Mountain. But he's also really good in it too. But I I think nothing will top this performance.
Oh no.
Whenever I see another, yeah, he's just so menacing, cold, as I would put it, but also funny at times, like the magic trick with the pencil.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this pencil this.
It's bad. I love that. That's one of my favorite parts too. And like, I mean, his performance is absolutely phenomenal. Like, it's just one of those that will never get old. It will never feel dated. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, there isn't a single scene where you can like point out and be like, oh yeah, this is kind of weird. This is kind of like silly because he's playing the Joker. He's playing a maniac who has jokes. His Joker laugh is utterly perfect. And yes, he had to go to insane kind of measures to get this character in. Sadly, we did lose him, but his performance is just one of the best. It'll always be known as one of the best. Many people consider it their favorite performance, and I'd say it's easily in my top 3 of all film.
Yeah. But I actually when I was at school, I would usually I was usually go up to people like very random, my friends very random, and say, hey, do you want to hear my Joker impression?
So many people love to do that. People were doing that in my class this year even. They love it.
Yeah, do you want to hear mine? Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Tomorrow, I tell the press that like a gangbanger will get shot, or a truckload of soldiers will be blowing up. Nobody panics, because it's all part of the plan. But when I say that one little mayor will die, well, then everyone loses their minds.
That was good. When you said minds and your voice kind of went up, that was very Heath Ledger Jokerish, which I love. And yeah, it's typically that, or people will quote the "you want to know I got these scars" scene, and it's always fun to hear because some people are terrible. That was pretty good. There's been some that are so insanely accurate. And they have like like the lip smacking thing, whatever you want to call that, too. And like even how that was just a thing that he did to keep his prosthetics and his makeup on, but then it just kind of became part of the character. And it's one of those things that people associate with Heath Ledger and the Joker. And I've seen Heath Ledger in Brokeback Mountain, which again, phenomenal performance, probably one of the best of that decade as well. And then in 10 Things I Hate About You, which I really love as well. But this is just like in the Mount Rushmore of supporting performances.
Yeah.
This is already there.
Yeah, but also one of the best performances. Yeah, he got an Oscar for it, which I'm proud of.
Yeah, I'm so glad. And because you wouldn't expect a superhero movie. Like when you think about it, this is a lot of people consider this like more than a superhero movie because a lot of people, like they can be fun, they can kind of be passable, and even like some of the Batman. Again, I really love the Tim Burton, like the Batman movies. I really love them. Are they nearly as good as these ones? No. But do I really enjoy them? Yeah. And then Batman and Robin sucks. Batman Forever, meh. But like these kind of.
Batman Forever is that bad. I don't think
It's not terrible. No, it's just very nah. Yeah. I just need to watch it again. It's been so many. I grew up with those films, so I have a soft spot for them. But like Batman and Robin, horrible. It's so bad. Everybody knows that. But I feel like the Dark Knight trilogy and even like this one is just so important for the genre, and I really love this genre. Obviously, I mean Batman is my favorite character of all time. Like Bruce Wayne Batman, whichever one you want to refer to, my favorite character of all time. So I just love that Christopher Nolan was like, yep, we're gonna make this darker and gritty. Because yeah, we had X-Men, we had Spider-Man, but this was the same year as Iron Man, and there's definitely like even with Batman Begins 3 years before, there was just this gritty, dark, and realistic look that I just love.
Yeah, like nothing. It doesn't compare to like any other of the superhero films. Like they're usually just like lights and like try to bring in some humor, but family. The family.
Family. Yeah. And what is it about this film that makes it your favorite above like all other movies? I know it's a tough thing, but like, what is it?
I think I have to go with the sound design. Yeah, because I'm also I'm an audiophile myself, but like every gunshots or any other sound that's in here like doesn't really sound like any other movies at all.
Oh yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, it just feels very booming and pristine.
Yeah, like whenever I watch this movie and like it'll even cut to the scene of like the Batmobile racing or like anything like that or like the Bat Pod, anything, I always have to turn down the volume if I'm watching it late at night. Like when I used to watch the main because it's so loud and so realistic.
Yeah, but my favorite sound effect is in the Chicago sequence where a Joker's about to use the bazooka for the first time, and then when the cops go, "What is that, a bazooka?" Yeah, yeah, you get like this, like you get like 5 frames of silence, and it goes.
That makes me laugh every single time. There's little moments like that that make me laugh. And the fact that a lot of that was shot with miniatures is just it's insane. There's so much about this movie that is just so crazy. Again, I don't know how they did it. And, as you're talking about with Chicago, they used that for Gotham. I think it looks just utterly perfect. Like it definitely looks at the Gotham that they were going for in this because Gotham looks very different. In the Burton ones, it does look, and even like those, kind of like first four, it does look
Yeah.
more cartoony. But here, again, it's grounded, it's real, everything. It's gritty.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
The Schumer ones were like they look like something like from a laser tag arena.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like just all the neon colors and all this. It's just
Yeah,
like
because we gotta sell toys.
yeah, that's exactly what the movie was made.
Yeah.
And I feel like something that people I'm not again, just making this clear. I'm not saying this is an underrated movie. It's not. It's not at all. But
Oh,
something
yeah.
that people do not appreciate enough, I think, is Aaron Eckhart's performance as Harvey Dent or Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Oh yeah.
phenomenal. It is on par with almost every other performance here.
Oh yeah. I agree that but performances here is really great. When he like turns into Two-Face, like he even has like the right tonal change
Yes.
of his performance. I even love I think it's one of the only times where Nolan because Nolan's not a huge CGI guy. He likes to do everything
Yep.
practical, but like the split thing with like you can see like all
Yep.
the
Tendons and all
blood
that.
yeah, bones and all that. I love the introduction to that as well.
Just the turn.
Yeah, no, you're not yet.
Yeah, it's so perfect, and then like you'll
It's
see
so
him in
real
the
too.
it looks really realistic because like yeah, and in the comics and all, it's a much more colorful look, which is definitely okay. And with what the hell is his name in Batman Forever, Tommy Lee Jones, again they're going for a more cartoony look with Jim Carrey as the Riddler and all this, and his face is like purple and stuff. But here, this feels like what would happen if someone lived while getting fire burnt like
Yeah,
all over their face. It's crazy, but it works so perfectly. And then I think the climax of the movie, there's like multiple things. There's the bombs on the things where both of them have to like pull or not, like pull the trigger. That's kind of like a literal, not a literal thing. And then you also have Harvey who has the Gordon, like James Gordon, like the Jim Gordon's kid. And I'm just like, it's so.
I'm sorry. Are you talking about the late night host?
Oh, I did not even think of that one. People who are watching this, it's gonna take them a minute. They'll be like, "Oh, oh my." And finally, is there like one scene that just sticks out to you that being like your favorite scene? Because I know this film is packed. Every single scene is a great scene, but is there just one that's just like this is my favorite?
Chicago, the Chicago sequence.
Yes.
I know. I mentioned that a lot in this video, but it's it's really the sound design. It's what makes it for me. Well, the action too, but it just I just get sweats every time I watch that one because there's like no music at all, just sound effects.
It's just sound effects. There's no score. I mean, the score is quite possibly my favorite score of all time. The dun dun dun. Dun. It's just like it always sticks in my head.
Score, yeah, that.
We can go into it now.
Yeah. Hans. Well, who's the other guy who did it too? James Newton Howard. Is that also?
I know that they did some. They do a lot of superhero movies, so I get them confused.
No, I think they both did it.
I know for sure Hans Zimmer did, but probably him as well.
Yeah, but the score is really terrific. I think it's one of the best superhero scores there is,
Yeah.
especially that I literally get chills at the ending where Gary Oldman's doing his little speech for that, and you music's going like dun 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 da.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. And then, Batman basically speeds off, or we could say rides off into the sunset if you want to say it like that, like an old Western and stuff. And I love how this movie, is based on films like Heat. And you can see, there's this beginning action sequences. There's the middle where the characters sit down in the interrogation room sequence is one of my favorites of all time. Dialogue in there, ending, everything is perfect. And Cam, I have to thank you for coming on the channel. It's great to finally have you on. I mean, we've been talking about movies and all stuff like that, TV, everything for a while, so it's good to finally have you on.
Yeah, thanks. I would love to do more collabs in the future,
Yeah.
as well as any other YouTube watching, because I mean, guys on Instagram has to do something too.
Yeah, exactly. Like you guys, you can definitely follow Cam on Instagram. I will link his, of course, down below. Tons of reviews, really well written. That's what I really appreciate. And thank you all for watching. Come back next week for episode 16. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.